He's somebody that can really turn the country around and somebody that we need. And maybe I'd like to have him come up and say a few words. Dave McCormick, please. Come on up, Dave.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. President. We are so proud to have you in the Keystone State. This is ground zero where you're going to go back to the White House based on what happens here in Pennsylvania. Right here, ground zero. And Mr. President, I'm so optimistic that you are going to win in Pennsylvania. You're going to win the presidency for two reasons. Number one, when I'm going across our great Commonwealth, the thing people say they want is common sense leadership, the kind of common sense leadership you showed when you were president. But the second thing they say they want, and I tell them, I say, listen, I was there with Mike Kelly and Dan Muser in Butler. I saw you get shot. I saw you come up. And I saw strength when you said, fight, fight, fight. Thank you, Mr. President. We're glad to have you with us here today.
He was there, by the way. He had just left the stage, actually. That was good timing. That was good timing. Just left the stage, right? I said, say hello to Dave. And then it began, a horrible thing. Also with us are Bob and Sherry Kepka. Where's Bob? I got to see Bob. Where is he? Where the hell is Bob? My golfing buddy. Bob Kepka. So he's the son of two great golfers. And they're both phenomenal people. One is Brooks. He's one of the best in the world. He just won last week. That is oh, look at him. He's shooting me as I'm talking. You can't do that. You're supposed to be standing up listening to every word. He's shooting it. I can't believe. Okay, so, hey, Brooks, your father's doing a great job. Your family is the greatest. But Brooks is one of the greatest players in the world. He's got 5 majors already as a young man. 5 majors, that's Hall of Fame all the way, right, Steve? And I'll tell you, he gets it from somewhere. He gets it from that guy, because that guy can play. We play each other, but Trump can play too. We play each other, we have a good time, right? We have to say hello to the family, you two boys, everybody, okay? Thank you. Thank you both. Sherry, thank you. Great guy, great family. And 2 amazing Puerto Rican musical legends. They're legends, Justin Quiles and Anuel. Do you know who they are? Do you know who the hell they are? Come up here, just fast, fellas, come on. Because I don't know if these people know who the hell you are. But it's good for the Puerto Rican vote. Every Puerto Rican is going to vote for Trump right now. We'll take. Hi, fellas.
Thank you, Mr. President, for having us here. For me, it's a real blessing to be here. I'm from Puerto Rico. We are a big part of United States. We really depend on the United States. Since Trump hasn't been around, Puerto Rico's, it's not a secret. We've been going through a lot as a country. And Biden always promised. A lot of politicians always promise through the years, but all of us know, the world knows, everybody's experienced it, the best president in the world. To all my Puerto Ricans, let's stay united. Let's vote for Trump. Personally spoke with him to help Puerto Rico grow, see it as a country. So let's stand out tall and united. And we all want to remember that. He wants to keep helping Latinos in the U.S. Let's do things the right way. And let's keep growing. Let's keep growing as a family. And let's make America great again. God bless y'all.
I like you. I always say this, you're not a puppet. I love that about you. Yeah, I really do. I'm saying things how they now think people, and that's very.
A lot of Latinos, we stand strong next to President Trump. A lot of Latinos, we love you as well. Thank you for sharing what back there, that how important building back Puerto Rico is. And not only Puerto Rico, but let's make America again. Let's go.
Wow, that's great. That's really nice. Great honor, fellas. Very talented guys, too. Just one final, a friend of mine who's been a friend for a long time, one of the most successful people in New York and Florida and all around, wherever he goes, successful. He never fails. He really does it. He's very extraordinary. Mr. Steve Witkoff. He's right here. Steve, stand up. Thank you. Thank you, Steve. Thank you. Got one of the great families, too. One of the great, great families. One of his boys is looking down right now, very proud of Dad, right? Looking down, your brothers, he's looking down saying, I'm so proud of my dad. But Steve is just extraordinary. Thank you, Steve, for being here. Appreciate it. Thank you. From the moment we take back the White House from Kamala and Crooked Joe, we're going to have 4 of the greatest years in the history of our country. It's going to happen. We're going to get it done fast. Starting on day 1, I will seal the border and stop the migrant invasion into our country. We will carry out the largest deportation operation in American history. We have no choice. We will halt the invasion and deport the illegals. She will let in the next 15 million people, and if they won in 4 years, we will have had over 100 million people from all over the world enter our country, and many of them likewise will be from prisons, mental institutions, gang members, criminals. Do it. She will destroy this country. She's worse than Biden, because Biden wasn't a real believer in the radical left. She is. That's all she knew. That's what her father taught her, a Marxist professor. That's what he taught her. We will defeat inflation very quickly, and we will make America affordable again. People afford to live here. We will make America the dominant energy producer in the world by far. I already brought it to #1. We were energy independent 4 years ago. Look what happened. We're going to be energy dominant very soon. We have more liquid gold under our feet than any other country in the world, and we will use it to reduce taxes and energy costs for our people. We will also start paying down debt very substantially. Once we will cut your energy bills in half. We will cut them in half. And that includes heating, air conditioning, electricity, and gasoline. I will turn the United into manufacturing superpower very quickly. We were ready to do that. We had the most successful country economically in the history of the world. Back very fast. We will no longer allow foreign countries to take our jobs and steal our wealth in Mexico. No, that's why the people are for me within the UAW, United Auto Workers. But they're building massive plants. They're owned by China. They think they're going to make cars, sell them into the United States. No, they're not. I will put a 200% tariff on every single car, and no car will be coming to the United States. We will make our own products, and by far less from foreign countries that we are buying right now, other countries that make us pay a tax to do business with them will be charged the same tax when they send their product into the United States. It will be called the Trump Reciprocal Trade Act. So if China or any other country charges us a 100% or 200% tariff or tax, we will then charge them a 100 or 200 mandate. I will cut every job-killing regulation of the Harris-Biden administration. I cut more regulations than president history, but I gave you the largest tax cuts of any president in history by far. and make our auto manufacturing business stronger than ever before. We're going to bring in tremendous numbers of factories. They're going to all be brought in because it's going to be too expensive for people to make them outside. They're going to all come back. We've lost 92% of our automobile manufacturing business over the last 30 years. It's going to come back. When I'm back in the White House, we will pass large tax cuts for workers and no tax on tips. No tax on tips. So if you're a restaurant worker, a bartender, hospitality worker, a caddy, a barber, driver, or anyone else who relies on tip income, your tips will be yours. You know, they've given you inflation. They've taken all your money away. And, you know, she heard this, and 2-3 months later, she said there will be no tax on tips. How original. That's why we talk about the American dream. She heard that the other day. So she'll start talking soon about she's going to bring back the American. She doesn't know what the American dream is. I will fight for and protect your Social Security and Medicare with no cuts whatsoever. And we will have no tax on Social Security benefits for our seniors. No more tax. Yesterday, I made a major new announcement. If I'm elected this November, for the first time ever, your government will pay for or require insurance companies to pay for all costs associated with IVF fertility treatment. We want more babies to be born in America. We want more babies. We need them. We need them. We will cut wasteful and unnecessary spending, and we will terminate the Green New Deal and spend that money on roads, bridges, real infrastructure, and paying down debt, not fake infrastructure that has caused massive inflation with no benefit whatsoever to our country. I will settle the war in Ukraine, and I will end the chaos in the Middle East, and I will restore peace through strength very quickly. We will end the weaponization of government against the American people. We will protect religious liberty, and we will end the war on Christmas is back. Remember? 8 years ago, I said there's a war on Christmas. They were afraid to say Merry Christmas, and we had it won. But now, how much can it take? But we will stop that very quickly. Just don't buy. Anybody doesn't say Merry Christmas, you don't buy, and that'll be back very, very quickly. When I return to the White House, I will also stop the indoctrination of your children and protect your parents' rights. We're going to protect parents' rights. We will rebuild our cities, including Washington, D.C., making them safe, clean, and beautiful again. In Washington, D.C., you leave the Commonwealth, you want to go see the Washington Monument, and you end up getting stabbed. You look at dirty roads with bad barricades, with graffiti all over the marble. It's going to be cleaned up real fast. We're going to take it over. We're going to run it properly. And we're going to have tough law enforcement. People aren't going to be shot in Washington, D.C. anymore. And we will keep the U.S. dollar as the world's reserve currency. It's fading. We're not going to let that. That would be like losing a world war. You can't let that happen. Then we would be a third world nation. This is how we will end the era of inflation, mayhem, and misery under Kamala and Crooked Joe. We will unleash safety, prosperity, and peace for Americans of every race, religion, color, and creed. Together, we will deliver low taxes, low regulations, low energy costs, low interest rates, low inflation, so that everyone can afford groceries, a car, and a home. We will stop the invasion, end migrant crime, support our police, strengthen our military, build a missile defense shield all around our country. Other countries have it. Why shouldn't we? We're going to all make it right here in Pennsylvania and other places. We're going to make a lot of it right here in Pennsylvania, from what I hear. But Israel has it. It worked. 300 rockets shot. 299 got shot down. One got pretty seriously hit. But if you think about it, it's amazing technology. You know, Ronald Reagan wanted it many years ago, but the technology wasn't there. But now the technology is there. We're going to have it built. We're going to have that dome built right over us. We're going to have a beautiful, safe country. One way or the other, we're going to keep it safe. We're going to keep critical race theory and transgender insanity the hell out of our schools. And we're going to keep men out of women's sports. We will defend the Second Amendment, restore free speech, and we will secure our elections. Everyone will prosper. Every family will thrive, and every day will be filled with joy and opportunity and hope. But for that to happen, we must defeat Kamala Harris, a Marxist, and we must stop her country-destroying liberal agenda once and for all. We have to stop it. And I think a lot of things are happening. Look, people are seeing who she is. All you had to do is watch yesterday. Give me a break. That's not a president. That's not a president. That's not a president. And we can't let that person destroy our country. So get your friends, get your family, register, volunteer, and get the hell out to vote, okay? Front row Joe. Right? Because we want a landslide that is too big to rig. Too big to rig. Too big to rig. And go to swampthevoteusa.com. Swampthevoteusa.com. On November 5th, we will save our economy. We will rescue our middle class. We will reclaim our sovereignty and restore our borders. We will put America first, and we will take back our country. Together, we will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. We will make America free again. And we will make America great again. Thank you very much, Pennsylvania. God bless you. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you. Wow, thank you very much, everybody. I love this place. I love it. We've had great luck here. So just to everybody, hello, Pennsylvania. How are we doing, Pennsylvania? And I'm thrilled to be back in this beautiful Commonwealth with thousands of proud, hardworking American patriots. That's what you are. It's coming, it's coming. Listen to this, 67 days, wow. 67 days from now, we're going to win Pennsylvania. We're going to defeat Comrade Kamala Harris. Did you see her? Did you see her last night? Did you see her last night? I don't know. You think she's going to be able to handle President Xi? I don't know. I don't think so. China, North Korea, Russia, I don't know. But we're going to win back the White House. We're going to make this country greater than it's ever been. And everyone here today is part of the greatest political movement in the history of our country. You know that. Make America Great Again, MAGA. And whoa, look at all of the fake news. They got a lot of fake news back there. That's a lot of fake news, David. That's a lot of people. Some I like, about 7%, and some I don't like. No, that's a lot. But, you know, when I say the greatest political movement in the history of our country, if I say something even slightly wrong, they give me 12 Pinocchios, right? 12 Pinocchios. No, we can't say anything even a little bit wrong. I can't even joke. When I used to show Biden couldn't find the stairs off the stairway, they'd say, Trump couldn't find it. They'd say, they took it. And they would say, I couldn't. When different things, the worst thing you can do with them is sarcasm, because it doesn't work with the fake news. So we won't have any fun, but we will have fun. We're going to have a lot of fun. And I recognize you. How are you? And I recognize you. But no, it's amazing what we built all together and started 8 years ago, maybe a little before that, who knows? Probably started 40 years ago in our soul, but it started 8 years ago, and nobody would have thought anything like this could have happened. And it represents a tremendous piece of the Republican Party, and more importantly, it represents a tremendous piece of this country, tremendous piece, a lot more than 50%. Therefore, we have to get out and vote. This past week, I was honored to receive 2 endorsements of former Democrats for president, Tulsi Gabbard and Robert F. Kennedy, Jr. And they're both great people. They were Democrats, as you probably know, and they felt very strongly about the endorsement, and I feel very happy to get it. Every day we are welcoming more Republicans, independents, traditional Democrats, and old-fashioned liberals. You know, they don't use that term anymore. They use progressive. We don't use that term. We like liberal better. Progressive sounds so good. It sounds progressive. They're not progressive. They're the opposite. Together we're fighting to secure our borders, end the endless foreign wars, and defend the working people of America. And coming in, I heard some of the most beautiful speeches. I heard just beautiful, beautiful speeches. I want to thank all of the speakers that preceded me. Beautiful speeches. We're joining forces to defeat government corruption, restore free speech, and make America healthy again. We're going to make America healthy again, you know? We're a nation that is not doing well in a lot of ways, and we're not doing so well with health, but we're going to solve a lot of those problems, I think, over the next short period of time. A lot of it's common. A lot of that's common sense, too. It's all common sense when you get right down to it. But we're going to get toxic chemicals out of our environment, and we're going to get them out of our food supply. We're going to get them out of our bodies. We'll get them out of our body, right? Right? With victory this fall, we will enact this pro-family agenda, and we will bring back the American dream, bigger, better, and stronger than ever before. They never talk about the American dream. They never mention it. They don't talk about the American flag. By the way, the American flag, we got some of the greatest congressmen warriors here that you have anywhere. And congressmen, go to Congress soon, like immediately, but soon. We should give a 1-year sentence in jail to anybody that burns the American flag. You should do that. Mike, do it, Mike. Right? Do it. That looks so bad at the Democrat National. I always call it Democrat. You know, they want it to be called Democratic. I said, then change your name. They don't change their name. Sounds worse, so I use it. But at the Democrat National Convention, I watched those American flags burning all over the place. I think it's a disgrace. And they said it's unconstitutional to stop it. Like hell it is, okay? Like hell it is. It's not unconstitutional. It's like when I stopped the riots in Washington. They were taking down statues. They were having a lot of fun. They didn't know what they were doing, having a lot of fun. And I pulled out an old law from 1907, because we don't pass laws like that are tough. And it said, if you touch a monument, if you touch it, even touch it against the will of authority, if you take it down, but if you even touch it, you go to jail for 10 years. And there's no 9 years and 5 months, it's 10 years. And so I signed it. I took it out. It was dusty. It was old and dusty. Hadn't been used in 78 years, I think they said. And I signed it. I announced it. And I watched about 10,000 asses. I could watch from the back as they left town. They were all gone. I knew there was a problem when they started ripping down a statue of Abraham Lincoln. I said, they're going to take down the statue of Lincoln? I don't think so. We're not going to let that happen. And we've got to be tough, because if you see what's happening in Aurora, Colorado today, did you see that? Where Venezuelan gang members have taken over parts of the city. They've taken over apartment houses because these stupid people that we have leading our country are allowing these people, these criminals, to come into our country, and we're going to get them the hell out of here. And this is just the beginning. Wait till you see what happens. Wait till you see what they're doing. Unbelievable. No, it's these congressmen, they're just shaking their head. They can't believe it. They can't believe two things, actually. The size of these crowds. You know, you could fill this place up 3 times. Why didn't you get a larger arena? Huh? Somebody said, as we were riding by, oh, it's too bad the arena hasn't started filling up. I said, no, you don't understand. It's totally full, but the line goes back for miles. It's already full. But we got to do that, fellas, you know? We got to do it. Because I've been saying for a long time, I said, these people are coming in from prisons and jails. Nobody listened to me. They're murderers. They're drug dealers. If you take a look at Venezuela as an example, their crime is down 72%. Because they've taken their criminals from Caracas. They've taken their drug dealers. They're emptying their prisons into our country. Their crime is down. All over the world, crime is down. In the Congo, in Africa, 22 people deposited into our country. Where do you come from? The Congo. Where in the Congo? Jail. What did you do? We will not say that. You can imagine. Listen, they come from Africa. They come from the Middle East, countries that are not friends of ours. And they're coming by the millions, And these fools, Kamala, who's a Marxist, these fools are letting them come into our country, destroy our country. And I said, you know, did you ever see the hat? I don't want to brag, but they do have a big selling hat. You know what it says? Trump was right about everything, right? Front row Joes. Front row Joes. Right? No, but it's...
strike in Lebanon.
Right. Thanks, Ashutosh, for bringing us all those details.
The IDF identified Hezbollah terrorist organization preparing to fire missiles, rockets towards Israeli territory. In a self-defense act to remove these threats, the IDF is striking terror targets in Lebanon from which Hezbollah was planning to launch their attacks on Israeli civilians. This follows more than 6,700 rockets, missiles, and explosive UAVs fired by Hezbollah at Israeli families, homes, and communities since October 8th. Hezbollah will soon fire rockets and possibly missiles and UAVs towards Israeli territory. We will shortly update the Home Front Command defensive guidelines for those in Israel. From right next to the homes of Lebanese civilians in the south of Lebanon, we can see that Hezbollah is preparing to launch an extensive attack on Israel, while endangering the Lebanese civilians. We warn the civilians located in the areas where Hezbollah is operating to move out of harm's way immediately for their own safety. Hezbollah's ongoing aggression risks dragging the people of Lebanon, the people of Israel, and the whole region into a wider escalation. Israel will not tolerate Hezbollah's attacks on our civilians. We are operating in self-defense from Hezbollah and any other enemy that joins in their attacks against us. And we are ready to do everything we need to defend the people of Israel.
לפנות בוקר אנחנו זיהינו היערכות של חיזבאללה לתקוף את ישראל. בעצה אחת עם שר הביטחון והרמטכ"ל, הנחינו את צה"ל לפעול באופן יזום להסיר את האיום. צה"ל פועל מאז בעוצמה לסכל את האיומים. הוא חיסל אלפי רקטות שכוונו לצפון הארץ, הוא מסכל גם איומים רבים אחרים, פועל בעוצמה גדולה, הן בהגנה והן בהתקפה. אני מבקש מכם, אזרחי ישראל, להישמע להנחיות פיקוד העורף. אנחנו נחושים לעשות הכל כדי להגן על המדינה שלנו, להחזיר את תושבי הצפון בבטחה לבתיהם, ולהמשיך לקיים כלל פשוט. מי שפוגע בנו, אנחנו פוגעים בו.
A short while ago, the IDF identified Hezbollah terrorist organization preparing to fire missiles, rockets towards Israeli territory. In a self-defense act to remove these threats, the IDF is striking terror targets in Lebanon from which Hezbollah was planning to launch their attacks on Israeli civilians. Hezbollah's ongoing aggression risks dragging the people of Lebanon, the people of Israel, and the whole region into a wider escalation. Israel will not tolerate Hezbollah's attacks on our civilians. We are operating in self-defense from Hezbollah and any other enemy that joins in their attacks against us. And we are ready to do everything we need to defend the people of Israel.
There's some breaking news coming in. IDF strikes multiple terror targets in Lebanon. The IDF says Hezbollah plan to target Israel. The IDF also says Hezbollah plan to kill Israeli civilians. Ben Gurion Airport temporarily suspends operations. Rocket sirens sounded in northern Israel.
In a self-defense act to remove these threats, the IDF is striking terror targets in Lebanon from which Hezbollah was planning to launch their attacks on Israeli civilians. From right next to the homes of Lebanese civilians in the south of Lebanon, we can see that Hezbollah is preparing to launch an extensive attack on Israel while endangering the Lebanese civilians. We warn the civilians located in the areas where Hezbollah is operating to move out of harm's way immediately for their own safety. Israel will not tolerate Hezbollah's attacks on our civilians. We are operating in self-defense from Hezbollah and any other enemy that joins in their attacks against us. And we are ready to do everything.
Right, we have Ashutosh Mishra joining us on the phone line for more on this. Ashutosh, the IDF calls it a self-defense attack in Lebanon ahead of, Hezbollah's attack. Give us more details.
Well, the last 24 hours, more than hundreds of these projectiles have been fired from the southern Lebanon particularly, and the IDF says that it's a preventive measure. They're now going to strike down all these places. And even as we speak, I have the Iron Dome alarm system, which also says the 6 months ago, the Arabel, Aram Shale, Haili, North Galilee, Shomrat, all these areas, including the Israeli air bases, are being targeted by the Hezbollah forces. And most of these places, into 14 minutes ago, nearly 30 or 35 projectiles were fired. Nearly 18 minutes ago, more than 20 projectiles fired. And several hostile aircrafts have intruded in the Israeli territory. And this looks like that since early this morning, there's a massive escalation happening between the Hezbollah group, the Lebanon terror organization, militia organization, and the Israeli forces are retaliating. Subsequently, what comes more important, and one of the biggest development is at the moment is that Israel Airports Authority have just announced that the departures from International Ben Gurion Airport in Tel Aviv will be delayed for several hours as the incoming flights will be redirected to other regional airports. And this comes as the decision follows Israel's preemptive strikes on Hezbollah prompted by the terror group's apparent preparations for a major attack on Israel. So they did anticipate since last evening that for the first earlier 24 hours, more than hundreds of projectiles were located, and they were struck down by the Iron Dome defense system, Israel's air defense system. But since this morning, there is a massive escalation happening. As we speak, even I can see these alerts that the southern Golan parts have come under huge attack. Subsequently, there are hostile aircraft intrusion have been reported in Upper Galilee, including several industrial areas particularly. And more importantly, for last 48 hours, what we have seen and what we are noticing, that the Lebanon-based this organization is actually targeting these civilian areas. Several houses, several properties can be seen burned down in those areas, and this looks like one of the major attacks by the Hezbollah group on the Israel, particularly targeting the civilians. And this comes nearly a year after what had happened in Israel when the Hamas targeted in the southern part of Israel. But this looks like now there's another front has opened for Israel, looking at the aggression being shown by the Lebanon's Hezbollah group.
Israel-Hamas war continues to escalate with forces on each side launching attack and counter-attacks. Israeli forces launched missiles on Hezbollah targets in Lebanon. The Hezbollah retaliated and launched counter-attacks on Israel. Israel conducted dozens of strikes on Hezbollah targets across Lebanon after detecting an imminent attack on Israel. Ben Gurion Airport near Tel Aviv has temporarily suspended operations. Rocket sirens have been sounded in northern Israel. In retaliation, Hezbollah said it launched 320 rockets against 11 military targets in northern Israel in the first stage of the retaliation. The Hamas military also released a video that shows Israeli tanks targeted, houses destroyed by bombs. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said that the military has been instructed to proactively remove the threat of Hezbollah in order to ensure the protection of Israel. He also said that Israel believed in protecting the citizens of the country and that they continue to uphold a simple rule: whoever hurts us, we hurt them.
לפנות בוקר אנחנו זיהינו היערכות של חיזבאללה לתקוף את ישראל. בעצה אחת עם שר הביטחון והרמטכ"ל, הנחינו את צה"ל לפעול באופן יזום להסיר את האיום. צה"ל פועל מאז בעוצמה לסכל את האיומים. הוא חיסל אלפי רקטות שכוונו לצפון הארץ, הוא מסכל גם איומים רבים אחרים, פועל בעוצמה גדולה, הן בהגנה והן בהתקפה. אני מבקש מכם, אזרחי ישראל, להישמע להנחיות פיקוד העורף. אנחנו נחושים לעשות הכל כדי להגן על המדינה שלנו, להחזיר את תושבי הצפון בבטחה לבתיהם, ולהמשיך לקיים כלל פשוט: מי שפוגע בנו, אנחנו פוגעים בו.
In a self-defense act to remove these threats, the IDF is striking terror targets in Lebanon from which Hezbollah was planning to launch their attacks on Israeli civilians. From right next to the homes of Lebanese civilians in the south of Lebanon, we can see that Hezbollah is preparing to launch an extensive attack on Israel. While endangering the Lebanese civilians, we warn the civilians located in the areas where Hezbollah is operating to move out of harm's way immediately for their own safety. Israel will not tolerate Hezbollah's attacks on our civilians. We are operating in self-defense from Hezbollah and any other enemy that joins in their attacks against us. And we are ready to do everything.
War clouds loom over Israel and Iran. The United States media and its reports suggest that Iran could likely strike Israel in the next 24 hours. This comes as the United States deploys a naval force in the Gulf. The anticipated attack is seen as retaliation of killing Ismail Haniyeh, the Hamas chief in Iran, just last week. Israel army has now released an aerial footage of strikes against Hezbollah, the militant group in Lebanon. In fact, the video shows strikes on Hezbollah military structures in areas of Farkela, Marwahin and Meis el Jabal. as Israel has also struck a Hezbollah observation post in the area of Aita Ashab in southern Lebanon. Reports have now suggested that several warning signs have cropped up, indicating a direct attack on Israel anytime now. Signs include fresh escalation and evacuation. More importantly, Israel at this point preparing itself by evacuating people along those areas which they feel a sense of threat. Increased military drills in Iran, closed borders and restricted airspaces as well.
الآن الجهود الدبلوماسية مرتكزة على محاولة إقناع إيران بتخفيف الضربة بشكل كبير جدا مقابل إيقاف الحرب من قبل إسرائيل والذهاب نحو صفقة تهدئة وصفقة تبادل أسرى. إذا كان هذا الحديث يعني هذا ما يجري إذا وافقت إسرائيل على ذلك، ولكن على ما يبدو أن إسرائيل وتصرفاتها وهذا اليوم والمجزرة التي ارتكبتها هي واضح أنها ما زالت تسير.
And things are hotting up between Iran and Israel, with the United States providing some breaking news right now. The U.S. Central Command says its forces have now destroyed 2 Iran-backed Houthi vessels in the Red Sea over the past 24 hours. 2 Houthi ships belonging to the Houthi rebels backed by Iran from Yemen have been destroyed by the U.S. Navy in the last 24 hours. This is a big escalation. The U.S. Central Command says the vessels presented a clear and imminent threat to U.S. and coalition forces. Remember, all of this taking place in the backdrop of Iran's expected attack on Israel. And now you have an escalation where U.S. forces have destroyed 2 Iran-backed Houthi warships in the Red Sea. Gaurav Sawant live with us. Gaurav, 2 ships destroyed in the Red Sea, coming in the wake of nearly constant attacks from Houthi rebels directed at Iran. What does this mean? What could this lead to?
Shiv, the Red Sea is red hot even as we speak. The United States has destroyed 2 vessels that the U.S. says pose clear and imminent danger to U.S. vessels in the region. You recall that the United States is sending an additional a warship, a nuclear-powered land attack submarine. The USS Georgia is being sent there. Theodore Roosevelt, the aircraft carrier, is already in the region. Abraham Lincoln is being sent there. And these are carrier strike groups. So 1 warship with more than 100 fighter jets and helicopters and L-ent aircraft comes with another flotilla. So they have their destroyers, their frigates, their submarines, their tankers. So that's the kind of a war fighting machine that the U.S. has in this region. 2 of them and perhaps additional forces also being mobilized. And here you had 2 Houthi rebel ships, according to the United States, that was coming eerily close to the U.S. warships, and it's not coming very close to the main, the main warship, which is the aircraft carrier. No one is allowed to come close to the aircraft carrier, and all ships spread out. So anyone that comes into their range where it could pose a threat, Iran, as you very well know, has also said that it will be sending some warships in this region to ensure that its assets and its interests are not threatened. So this is where the situation becomes extremely, extremely grim in the Red Sea. And there are, while there are efforts for peace talks, everyone is prepared for conflict.
Okay, everyone's prepared for conflict. There appears to be an incremental escalation. That direct attack from Iran hasn't happened just yet. Is it going to happen in the next few hours, next few days? Everything seems uncertain and on tenterhooks at this time. Gaurav, stay with me.
We have some breaking news coming in. Hezbollah announces beginning of retaliation against Israel. Israel targets over 100 Hezbollah sites in Lebanon. Hezbollah fires over 150 projectiles into Israel. Ben Gurion Airport temporarily closed. This escalation comes after weeks of growing tension with Hezbollah and its regional ally, Iran, vowing to avenge the killing of its military commander, Fouad Shukr. Lebanon-based militant group Hezbollah and Israel both announced large-scale military operations against each other. According to a statement from Hezbollah, an Iran-backed group, several explosive drones have been launched targeting key Israeli military sites. Hezbollah said it has launched more than 320 Katyusha rockets at Israel. Ashutosh Mishra is joining us live on the broadcast for more on this. Ashutosh, this is a massive escalation in the Israel-Lebanon